I was trying to set up this video for a while already, and I'm happy to be here. This is a story which I owe you, Dan. Because 3 years ago I started this channel. I started sharing days of life with giant Schnauzers, but I never told you how exactly these two souls appeared in my life. And this is something what this episode is going to be about.
Let's make a deal. Well, let's make a deal. You behave good during this recording and I will give you some sausages, or some meatballs.
So it all started with one life-changing decision that led us to Arny. But before, let's rewind to October 2020. That time of life threw me an opportunity to start working remotely, move to the village, and enjoy the luxury of having my own yard. It was a perfect setting to get a dog. For the beginning, we had so many questions. Where to start, which breed, which country, how can we find a breeder? After 2 months of research, we combined kind of a list of the ideal characteristic for a dog. So it was big, playful, active, breed that has hyperallergic fur, trainable, not prone to excessive barking, and of course we wanted to have a dog which look we like. We narrowed it down to 3 breeds: Giant Schnauzer, Corso, and Airedale Terrier. So the giant Schnauzer stole our heart because of the look and because of their personality. At the time we never saw this dog in real life, but we watched a lot of YouTube channels and yeah, we decided that this is the perfect dog for our family. So by December 2020 we were searching for a breeder quite intensively. By the way, here is the website to find a registered breeder in countries around the globe and probably in your country as well. I will attach the link in the description as well so you can check it out. So we considered 3 countries: Germany, Spain and Russia. With Germany it was a little bit complicated since they didn't have a lot of litters coming. Spain was quite difficult because of the language barrier, and yeah, there were also not so many breeders with potential litters coming. So Russia, this is my birth country. In general it was a perfect fit since there are a lot of quite good breeders with long proven history and with true passion to this dog. I would say that we were incredibly fortunate to find a wonderful woman who had been specializing in Schnauzers for around 20 years. She thoroughly vetted us before allowing to reserve a puppy. She called us and said like, look, I think that you're a good fit for a puppy, so you can take it. We booked a puppy. And this is the moment when Arny officially joined our life by papers. Would I be lying saying that Arny was the cutest thing I ever seen? He was such a tiny fluffy ball of wild happiness. It was amazing.
Arny, Arny, Arny. Ты меня еще не кусал, а?
So by March 2020, at just 4 months old, it was time for Arny to fly from Russia to Portugal. Of course, as you know, 2021 was the year of lockdown, so with no direct flights, he had to travel via Amsterdam, but thankfully he arrived safely, accompanied with my dear friend Nadia. From the moment Arny arrived, everything was quite intense. Our life, his amount of energy, his antics, he was full of life. He was challenging us every turn. Being the first-time dog owners, we made our fair share of mistakes. It took us a year to work with different trainers, not consistently, but episodically. We were getting some consultations. We also learned a lot of information online on YouTube. It was quite difficult time, and we needed to be very patient in order to mold ourselves into good pet owners. Because with these dogs, it is extremely important not to teach your dog how to behave, because they learn quite easily. I do think that if these dogs are getting into right hands to the professional trainer, it's quite easy to teach them what to do. They are remarkably clever, they are keen to work, they are keen to serve, they are working dogs. So the point was in us. We didn't know how to behave. And if you ask me what was the biggest puppyhood mistake with Arny, it was that we were staying with him 24/7 for probably 6 months or even more. So at the moment when we needed to leave for work, sometimes going to the office, it was quite a challenge for him. He had a severe separation anxiety. So what we did during this separation anxiety crisis, we just started increasing from 10 minutes to 1 hour time when we were leaving, and when he was behaving well, we were coming back and giving him some treats, until Arny got that it is okay to be alone and he is going to get some rewards. So life with Arny has evolved. We now enjoy peaceful walks in most cases, even though he still gets triggered by some specific dogs in our area. But in most cases, he's calm. He became great with people, especially with women. He adjusted staying home for quite extensive period of time, and even does well with other dogs and people and the dog hotels. And like any other dog owner, when you establish your life with one dog, you start looking for the second dog. The idea was that 2 dogs would keep each other company, and in the long term it would not necessarily add too much of extra effort. In August 2023, our breeder told us that she had a line with a new litter, and there is 1 puppy left. After receiving some videos and photos, we decided that this little fluffy ball is going to be our second dog. With Sydney, things went even harder than with Arny. Transporting Sydney from Russia to Portugal was a challenge. Flights were not an option due to the border restriction, and using pet transport company was not an option as well. So we turned to friends, and through the network we found Valentin, amazing man who drove Sydney all the way from Russia to Portugal. It took 5 days, by the way. So Sydney arrived in October 2023. And if you want to see the story of how Arny and Sydney met the first time, you can check the video link above or in the video description. Now I have to admit, my expectations were a little unrealistic at first about having a second dog and what is this dog is going to be like. Thinking that Sydney is going to be like Arny was a huge mistake. Every dog is different. Sydney was super emotional. He was anxious about other people, animals, any unusual sound or object. He was just super anxious. He was shaking, he was barking, and at that time I didn't know what to do because we never had such cases with Arny. Arny was always confident. He was okay with other people from his first day. And Sydney was different, yet he was great. Sleeping at night was impossible for first couple of weeks because he was super anxious, he was crying, and it made Arny super angry. Each time when Sydney was crying, Arny was barking at him. And yeah, it happened like maybe from 5 to 20 times per night. So the first month was a disaster. In November 2023, we started working with our trainer, which was a game changer. So during these trainings with Eva, we discovered that Sydney is highly food motivated, and with consistent training he began to improve every day. Over time, Arny and Sydney grew closer. And now, as you can see, they are inseparable. This is amazing to see how their relationship were changing over time from the first anger and impossibility to accept even the presence of each other to such strong bond between them. Arny, being bigger and stronger naturally, took a dominant role in their hierarchy. And even though Sydney is almost as tall as Arny, he's still 6 kilos lighter. I don't know, most probably he's going to gain a little bit of weight during the next couple of years. These two souls have found their place in my family, and life with them has become a lifestyle. Having 2 big dogs means a lot of long walks, hikes on weekends, and plenty of playtime. And of course, do not forget about cleaning. You need space, time and commitments, but at the end it's all worth it. What I love the most about this breed, and particularly my 2 giants, is their incredible character, their deep emotional bond with me, and of course their appearance. Giant Schnauzers have a majestic look, combining with brutal appearance with a little of a touch of aristocracy. Let me know what you think after hearing this story, and yes, I would love to hear from you. So it's already impossible to proceed with this video because they are getting bored and they wanna play outside. No, give me 1 second, I need to finish. Okay, so without further ado, we would like to thank you. No. So without further ado, we would like to thank you for watching this episode, and enjoy the time with your pets. And I hope we see each other in the next episode, if we do not break a camera. Okay, bye bye.
No, back.